Hey, welcome back to part 2 of me telling you guys all the best places to get D&D 5e supplemental materials that are not from Wizards of the Coast. Since this stuff comes from a third party, it's a little bit more mature sometimes, a little bit more fun. It's definitely unique and interesting for your players, especially veterans. Once again, I was not paid to talk about these. However, if you're looking at monsters, I highly recommend Tome of Beasts from Kobold Press. They're kind of like the de facto leader when it comes to this stuff. You can see I bookmarked the shit out of my copy, but essentially it's a bunch of different creatures for a bunch of different CR levels, including lore and art for your D&D game. They fit any biome, any setting. Some of them are bosses or variants on existing D&D creatures. I highly recommend taking these and switching them out on an even CR with creatures from the existing modules to mix things up. So if you're playing like Curse of Strahd, for example, and you come up against a Mimic, your party's, they're going to be sick of Mimics by now, especially if you play with experienced players. So instead, switch it out for a different creature of the same CR level to mix things up. This next one I haven't dove into too much yet, but it's called Historia by Mana Project Studios, and it's got everything. It's a dark fantasy renaissance setting that is set in a world essentially with a bunch of anthropomorphized animals. So if you're sick of always having to choose between like Tabaxi or Leonin, or Aarakocra or Kenku, these guys have whole families full of creatures and subtypes that you can choose from when you build your character. So you have like, for instance, pig races, and you can be a pig or a hog or two different types of geese, pelicans, hawks, hedgehogs, anything really that you can think of. There's also new classes, subclasses, factions, backgrounds, anything you need. And of course, it's a whole setting on its own, Come back for a part 3 where I talk about the real mature stuff.